Hello, welcome to the 2010 NFL preseason schedule, week 4 picks. All of these games are on September 2nd today, so we'll start off at 6 o'clock Central Time between the Bills and the Lions. Detroit, they've had good success running the ball so far as they've netted up 154 yards on the ground against Cleveland, lasting about 6 yards per carry. They have been 4 for 4 in the red zone against Cleveland, and look for Detroit to outscore Buffalo probably late in the fourth quarter. I'll say 34-20 Lions. At 6 o'clock Central Time, it's the Bengals and the Colts. Now, Indy, they have increased their point total in every game so far, but so has the opponents. And I'm not saying that Cincinnati will go over a milestone 59 points, but Indy will tie up loose issues after the preseason. So 25-14 Bengals. Next, it's the Patriots at the Giants, 6 o'clock Central Time. For New England, this is a meaningless affair, but with still little key things to watch for. Rhett Bomar needs to play like a reliable backup. Otherwise, Jerry Reese will be scrambling for his phone to get Matt Leinart on speed dial. The offensive line has clarified that decisions haven't been made very well for the Giants, so I'll say Patriots 18-12. At 6:30 Central Time, it's the Falcons and the Jaguars. A lot's working against Matt Bryant. The heat's already beginning to turn up, and his leg might not even last at all this season. They've got to make extra points, even though 50 yards is a different situation. So 26-6 Jaguars. At 6:30 Central Time, it's the Jets and the Eagles. The Jets' offense has been very mediocre. Coleman and Lowry need to step up because one or both of them will see significant playing time. I'll say Eagles 23-14. At 6:30 Central Time, it's the Panthers and the Steelers. Sack numbers don't even guarantee roster spots for Carolina's defensive linemen. So I'll say 19-8 Pittsburgh. At 7 o'clock Central Time, it's Chicago at Cleveland. What you've seen from Jay Cutler so far this preseason has been dreadful, and he has performed the worst show on turf, aiming at 19 of 37. I'll say 31-10 Brownies. Of course, Cleveland. Next, at 7 o'clock Central Time, it's the Dolphins and the Cowboys. There are issues defensively. The run which need to be addressed in Dallas. I'll say 26-22 Dolphins. 7 o'clock Central Time, it is Tampa Bay at Houston. Houston retained players in free agency while Tampa Bay was just harshly quiet in free agency. For Tampa Bay to win, they must make lots of noise in free agency. 13-3 Texans. Next, it's the Packers and the Chiefs, 7 o'clock Central Time. Aaron Rodgers has taken great control and turned things his way. I'll say Packers 41-16. At 7 o'clock Central Time, it's the Broncos and the Vikings. T-Jack will produce as a reliable number 2, but for Eric Decker, he has a homecoming game in the Dome tonight, and he knows what fans like and don't like inside the Metrodome. It should be interesting, but I'll say my Vikings will prevail, 27-23. At 7 o'clock Central Time, it's Baltimore at St. Louis. Troy Smith's, he's currently a bubble boy to keep your eyes on. He has been positive so far, and he's had a fair row of supporters. He'll still be on the roster week 1. I'll say Ravens 32-28. At 7 o'clock Central Time, New Orleans at Tennessee. This game will feature wall-to-wall coverage for all players, even on the wide receivers and secondary, but only on New Orleans because they went 3-1 last preseason, if you remember. 33-23 Saints. At 9 o'clock Central Time, it's the Redskins and the Cardinals. The wide receivers have been wearing thin too long for Arizona. Grossman, Beck, and Bartel are not exactly the Earl Morrell and Norm Van Brocklin off the pine, but whatever, I'll say Redskins 21-19. At 9 o'clock Central Time, Seattle at Oakland. I just don't see Matt Leinart going away to Oakland. Gronkowski and Bowler will look to feast off of each other for the number 2 spot, but it could be Bruce's job to lose, since he was 14 of 22 with 202 yards, but still decent enough throwing 2 touchdowns. Well, somewhat, against San Francisco. But anyway, I'll say Oakland 39-26. Then at 9 o'clock Central Time, it is San Diego at San Francisco. Now for San Fran, they already know it's time to get ready for the regular season. And they'll look for David Carr and Nate Davis to be impressive tonight. 24-13 Niners. So, those are my picks. And enjoy week 4. And we're officially back to football next week. Stay tuned.